Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Olivares, and today I'll be talking about the food ethics, The Moral Maze by Ralph Early, and published by Food Science and Technology, which is a well-respected forum, or not forum, informational magazine for that they could give food facts to provide their consumers with news that they could use for their daily lives, and using what they know about their food technology and having help with from the food scientists. So, who is Ralph Early? He is a food scientist and food ethicist. He was also formerly a professor from Adams University. Before this, he spent almost 20 years in the food industry, gaining experience from farming, food manufacturing and quality, and food safety management. In his article, he begins with how he describes how the food industry relates to the animal welfare, environmental sustainability, and company morality. Then he suggests we should make a tool to try to guide the food industry. And next, he goes more into how should we care about the food ethics, how like over human history, food has always been part of the different cultures and what each of them signify as the years go by. The significance of food will always change based on how the rest of the community looks upon it. Then he goes on about how the food system connects to the food ethics and how there's different policies such as the food security, food and health, and sustainability of the food, and so on and so forth. He then also describes on how there are also directors of different companies would take advantage of this by trying to have more greed and better than morality by not telling the entire truth to their consumers. Lastly, he would explain how there is a basic understanding on how to guide the food companies by having these standards to better their system of producing and consuming. However, there's always going to be a gray area that food companies are going to find themselves in a dilemma. And so pretty much his whole focus of this article is how that we should be focusing on food ethics as much as there are other ethics. The the different ethical frameworks that I found was that utilitarianism, how that companies they could be doing some pros and cons to figure out a better outcome for their company, and also or possibly just further better or better for themselves. The next article I'll be talking about is Food Production and Food Justice by Anne Barnhill and Tyler Duggett, and which is also published by the Ithaca College, which is a well-respected institution based on how it's a pretty much a college where everyone would research their all of their articles as well. In this article, it talks about how food is hugely important to the human life since it gives us comfort and joy, and it just gives us more a significancy in our lives. However, is it worth it due to the fact that we kill so many animals and destroy our land? And there are also farm factories that mass produce the food, and but also there's a lot of horrible conditions to the animals that they're raising, and also there's also morality on how young they kill the animals based on just because they will be tasting a lot better when they're being served. In addition to the animals, there is also industrial plant farms. In these farms, there are intensive modified organisms where the products are being placed in stores. The consumers are not even aware if the product is GMO. This leads to the company not morally doing the right thing by telling their consumers what have they modified in their products. This is important due to the consumer not having any control of what they are buying and eating. As these companies are keep producing these products, sooner or later, all of the resources that our planet offers would soon be gone. The working environment of these farms, factories, plant factories needs to change. The workers are pretty much modern day slaves due to the conditions they have to deal with. That is why there is the food justice movement to help the workers to get better working conditions and better benefits. There's also food sovereignty movement, which is for the hunger and food insecurity. And this supports the first article since it connects to the how this goes into much deeper on how unethical are some of the companies who has the farm factories and industrial plant farms. Now, my fourth question is how has the field of food ethics evolved over time? How does the use of antibiotics in industrial animal farms impact animal health and welfare?